Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Uncropped. Today we have another fantastic actor on here. I almost did not say that right. We have Jared, who plays Riley on. And Jared, you want to take a minute to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Hey, everybody. My name is Jared Lennon. I'm an actor in River's Edge. I've been acting for the better part of my life, mostly in theater, but it's more recent years that I've gotten into film, and it's really interesting the differences and similarities. And so it was really great to have the opportunity to work on such a wonderful project such as this and play Riley in River's Edge.
And then we also have Piper. You want to say hi?
Hi. I don't
Again,
know what to say at this point because I've been on here a few times. So I'm like, yes, I'm me.
for people who don't remember, tell them what you did with the film.
Oh, I sort of kind of wrote it.
Sorta, kinda, only?
Sort of kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you also sort of kind of. So then putting that together, that's a whole.
There
Definitely.
you go. See, we,
Yeah.
we make sense up in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jared, you were actually the last actor that we got for this project, which was very nerve-wracking, on our end at least. I don't know if you were stressed out about it at all, but tell us about your process of how you learned about the project and how we ended up meeting you and how all that worked out.
Yeah, so I would love to say it's like my fellow actors because I listened to the other episodes of the podcast and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we saw it on Backstage." And then I'm sitting there listening to it like I'm not on Backstage. I saw this on Facebook. Yeah, I saw a post on Facebook cuz I'm a part of a lot of various Facebook groups for looking for actors in theater and film in Maine. And so I saw a post about this and I responded to it. I don't really respond to a whole lot of them, but this one sounded promising. So I did kind of just shot in the dark, threw it out there, and did an audition, sent in my acting reel, resume, all that good stuff, and then guess you guys liked me because then we ended up doing a chemistry test with Isaiah and Cora, and then you offered me the role.
And you guess we liked you? It was like as soon as you did the audition, I was like, okay, Piper and I were talking, I think we watched it together on FaceTime or whatever. We were like, yeah, it's him.
We must. I think we. I want to say we watched it almost as soon as we got it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, because part of it was also the stress of, hey, we're supposed to be filming in a month. We need to get this figured out. But also part of it was like, I'm excited to see what this guy's got.
Yeah, they were like, oh my god, we got an audition.
And then Facebook, I think Dylan posted that post, I think. But, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to find acting. I know it's tough to find stuff that, a lot of actors are interested in, but Facebook isn't a bad way to find stuff.
Yeah, that's honestly how I found most of my stuff recently.
Hey, there are a lot of communities out there where, people don't know, but there are, thousands and thousands and thousands of groups of a whole crap ton of people that just want to make films and say, hey, we want lighting, we want cinematography, we want actors, we want all this. It's all there. Why not use it? But yeah, that's how you got involved with the project. And yes, you did a great job in your audition and the chemistry test, especially considering the crazy timeline that we had. And you also are very good at responding quickly. So thank you for that. That was very helpful.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of people because we had actually, I'm so glad that the other people that we had been talking to about being Riley in the past just didn't work out because they weren't nearly as good as you and they didn't have as much experience as you as well. So that was really a blessing in disguise at that time. But I was really glad that this all worked out.
I'm pretty glad too.
Well, I'm glad that you're glad.
Perfect.
We can continue this all day if we wanted to.
Amazing. Everybody's glad.
Piper, you have the question, I think.
Oh, yeah. So coming onto set, am I correct that you didn't know anybody there?
Yeah, nobody at all.
Yeah. So what was that like, kind of adapting into the environment? Because like some of us knew each other, some of us didn't, but you like really just came up in there and were like, wow, you are all new people.
But also, there was the fact that we had already been filming for like a week and a half before you had shown
That
up.
too, yeah.
I was like, I kind of feel bad just bringing him in after we had all been filming for a year and a half and he knows nobody, or a week and a half and he knows nobody.
It's like, we'll just plop you in right there.
Yeah, that was absolutely terrifying. Because I mean, even just in general, I always have that when I meet new people. I'm always just generally scared.
Same.
And I was really thinking about that going into it. Like, I'm literally about to drive all this way to go hang out with a bunch of people I've never met before for an entire week.
Dude, that is
Who
so
knows
brave.
how this is gonna go?
That is so brave. I would have been like, no thanks.
Yeah, and then it was especially made worse by the fact of everyone else was working together for a week and a half, and then I just show up one day, and it's one thing if everybody's new, but literally everybody else at least had a week and a half together. That was a lot.
Michael, why did we do this?
I'm sorry. It's the only thing that worked, time-wise.
No, it was okay because I had, honestly, I was scared that you guys weren't going to cast me because of that, because I had, the scheduling conflicts. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if maybe you had already said, hey, we want you for the role, and then I was just like, hey, by the way, I actually can't do that first week. I have a performance, by the way. But then you guys were just so great and were able to work around it, and I was so surprised but so grateful for it.
I think we pitched you the dates before. Because I was emailing you back and forth. I think we pitched you the dates before just to make sure, because I think we were doing that with everyone. Like, make sure these dates are available before we offer you the role. But also, a lot of it's like a thank you to you for being so flexible and making it work, because like it was tough. I know you were crazy busy all summer, and like you were at the theater doing how many shows, I have no clue, but that, as well as being on a movie set and giving a crap ton of effort towards this, it must be challenging for you.
Yeah, it certainly was, but that's, at the same time, I don't like to be bored, so that's kind of how I like to live life, even if it's right back to back from one project to another. I'll do it.
I'm the same way. I hate being bored, but then it just catches up to me, and I just feel like garbage for a week or a week and a half. So that's what we call burnout. Oh, yeah. So the throwing you in to everyone working for a week and a half before you. Just so you know, I felt the same exact way going into that. Because I only knew Dylan, Colleen, Murphy, Will, and Piper. Those are the only people that I had met in person. And Cora. But those are the only people that I had like really met in person and solidly knew. So a solid, I know you had to meet 100% new people. I had to meet like 75% new people, and really hope, and I had to be in charge of the new people too. So I was like, I'm scared. I don't want people to think I'm an asshole. But yeah, I know the feeling. It's stressful, but from what I understood and what I saw from my external perspective, everyone got along super well, which we are eternally grateful for. Everyone was really fun to work with. Like, again, I think all of us can say the same here, where we had no clue what we were going into with who we were working with, because we didn't really know anyone. But I think everyone in the crew is thankful, and cast is thankful that it went as well as it did. At least that's just what I've heard. Maybe people are like, oh, I wanted to see a giant fight on set.
You know, as entertaining as that would have been, no, I think it was great. Especially because it was nerve-wracking walking into a whole bunch of people I didn't know. It was a little reassuring just to see, especially with like how young everybody was working on it, how organized and kind of professional everything was. That was really nice to see.
Well, I appreciate that because, again, a lot of us, it was our first time doing anything like this, and we didn't know if we were like, are we being professional or are we just being dipshits at this point? So, a lot of times we felt like we were we were being professionally dipshitty. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was a nice in between because it was professional, but it was also fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. The thing that sucks for me is there's so much going on that all the fun moments I have to like really think to find them in my mind. I'm really disappointed about that, but no, it was great, and I think just the fact that everyone got along was an awesome thing. So now I have a question for you, Jared. You played Riley, play Riley. Obviously, tell us about your character and what was like your process of connecting with the character. What does it like? Do you have a certain process for yourself? Because we've talked to Cora and Isaiah, and they've both had crazy different processes. I'm interested to see what you have.
Yeah. So I'd say it's sort of different for every project and every role I take on. It really depends on a lot of factors. But when it came to Riley specifically, I felt like I really related to him. We had a lot of similarities, and in other ways, sort of what I at least used to wanted to be. You know, at least in middle school, I was like, yeah, I want to be an athlete. I realized real quickly I wasn't. But then there's also the friendship aspect of it, which is really sort of Riley's main goal in this film. Is Cash is the lead, he's the main character, and Riley is his best friend. And with Cash going through all of this really terrible stuff, Riley's just always there for him. And something I was really able to take from my own personal life is I don't have any siblings, I'm an only child, but I do have friends that are like brothers and sisters to me. So I was very much able to take that sort of relationship and bring that into the bond between Riley and Cash.
Yeah, that makes like so much sense. It's crazy, like you don't realize how much, like I didn't realize how much you related to Riley until you described it. I didn't realize how much Isaiah related to Cash until you described it. And Cora with Hadley, I think I'm glad that you guys can relate to the characters so heavily, as opposed to having characters that you absolutely hate and don't relate to at all.
Well, I don't think they would have done this if they hated them.
I know.
But to be fair, that it depends, because sometimes that can be fun too. Like if you're playing a villain,
all right, yeah,
maybe you don't relate to the character, but you can find small aspects.
All right, I redact my statement.
Oh, now she's bringing out the journalism terms. Anyway, yeah. So, I was going to say something. I don't remember.
You do that a lot.
I know, it's bad. I have so much going in my mind where I want to ask like certain questions about what you say, but you say so much good stuff that I have to be like, ooh, that. How long have you said you've been acting for?
So I've been doing theater since I was 8. I started in 2013, and I did my first stuff with film towards the end of my high school career. So the last 3 or 4 years, 3-ish.
Whoa, that's crazy.
You were 8 in 2013.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, can we just pause for
Sorry.
a second? Wait, reason being, I kind of just like, when I was going through behind the scenes and like thinking about stuff, I kind of realized that, Jared, you're younger than my brother, which doesn't feel right. My brother was born in 2004 and he's 20, and you just act so much more mature than him, so good job.
Good job. Well, that's good. Thank you. Yeah. 2005.
Oh my
So I'm still 19.
You're like a baby.
But I'm 19 and a half, so...
Oh my god. Do you know how old this makes me feel?
You're 24. Calm down.
I know. I just... anyone born past, like, 2002 doesn't exist, and they are children and super young.
Oh,
Sorry,
no,
Jared.
The year my brother was born blows Michael's mind.
Yeah.
2011.
Anywho. Sorry. Off track. But yeah, you... had a lot of acting experience in it. I think it, to me, really showed. You handled every moment on set perfectly, and you, I don't know, you just had a really, like, professional vibe about you. And you were fun to work with, and it was all, like, all good vibes the entire time. So that was great.
Thank you. Yeah, I especially, I hadn't done as much film stuff going into this, so being in a sort of new environment, especially with new people who at least seemed like they knew what they were doing, I wanted to kind of just go with the flow. And if there were different ideas, or like, oh, do this or do that, or oh, we're rescheduling something, I'm not gonna say any different. Let's just go with it.
That's what I really enjoy. I love when people are kind of just like, go with the flow, let's do this, and just easy to work with. It makes me feel so, like, it makes me feel, okay, it's all gonna be good. Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Well, from this conversation, I think one of the things that we had worried about going into this was how people would get along on the cast and the crew. How did you go about connecting with the other actors? Like, how did that go? Also, I guess this comes back to being plopped down into this a week after everybody.
Yeah, that certainly made it more nerve-wracking, because not only do I have to meet new people, but I have to actually become close with them. What? But yeah, also I'm just in general at least a semi antisocial person. Like, not that I don't like talking to people, but I definitely struggle at least with starting conversations, especially with new people. So that was a pretty large aspect of it. But I knew for the performance, for it to be better, there had to be some sort of connection with the other actors. And Isaiah and Cora were both just great to work with and great people to be around. Isaiah was just really fun, off set while we were not filming, just always joking around and having fun. Cora was great as well. Like, I remember there were a couple, I think when we were shooting at the school, and there was maybe another one as well, somebody needed to give her a ride back to the Airbnb. And this was also very much just her trying to, like, get to know me better. She was like, oh, you want to give me a ride? Okay, sure. So I did.
Yeah.
So little stuff like that helps.
Sorry. You and Cora had... I can't say what I was going to say.
No spoilers.
I know.
No
I have to redact my statement.
I think we were surprised at the chemistry is what you're getting at, and like the improvisation of some things. I'm trying to work around a point.
Please do. Thank you.
Because there were a few times I remember being on set and we would be filming, and it would be a scene involving you and Cora, and Michael and I would be watching, and you would do something that wasn't in the script but that worked so well, and we'd be like, oh my god. I think
that's too much of a spoiler.
No,
oh my god,
not.
Yeah, that's a freaking spoiler.
I didn't refer to anything.
He knows exactly what we're talking about, though.
They're obviously in scenes together. This is a movie. I didn't refer to a specific scene. I think I'm good. Anyway.
Scene 77.
Shh.
They don't know scene numbers. No one knows except for us.
You don't know. You don't know. You don't
How'd
know
they
what
get
they
our
know.
script?
Honestly, I don't even remember.
So I will relate to you on the fact that I think everyone in the Piper and I can both agree with you. We are antisocial and
Oh yeah. Are you kidding
bad
me?
at starting conversations.
I
and
have
very,
such bad anxiety.
and anxious about social situations. So I completely feel you on that.
Yeah.
It's a situation for sure. But everyone made it easy to do, like, make conversation and have, like, it was like you said, it was fun. It was kind of open. Once you got to know people, it was great. But that first time talking with someone, it's like, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Piper, any follow-up question with that, or can I move on to my question?
Well, with what I was talking about,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you didn't give her a chance.
that you made us cut out. I wanted to know, like, how. I don't know how to word my question around something we can't talk about. I want to know how those things came about. Like, what was the process behind the scenes before we got into the filming? Because I distinctly remember being like, oh, when those things happened. And I was like, oh my god, they are so good at this.
The thing with that and a lot of improvisation is, especially if it's something the other actor does and I didn't know what was going to happen, I have that same exact reaction. It's just inside my head and I can't like outside have it, because that the scene I know we're talking about, that was one of my favorite scenes to shoot because it did feel the most natural. And especially because that was towards the beginning of the time that I was there shooting. So Cora and I, like, we knew each other, but we didn't know each other super duper well yet. And before we shot that scene, like, we did some preparation, but all we did for that was just run through the lines in the scene. We didn't talk about any not in the script additions. It just kind of happened when we were shooting. And in my head, I was like, oh, that's happening. Okay, it makes sense. Cool, let's go with it. And let's see where things go. And it worked out. And again, I think it made things feel more natural and just fit the scene.
I am flabbergasted.
You guys were all so great at, like, improv on the spot, because I think we also wanted to give you guys some freedom. Because, like, you guys, obviously, you're actors. You know what you're doing. You know how to play off of other characters' emotions and stuff. We wanted to give you that freedom, like, hey, improvise your lines a little bit. As long as you get, like, the point across, you're fine. Yeah. And you guys did awesome with that. Like, again, in the scene that you're describing, it was shocking to me, but I was, like, Piper and I were both like, that fits. It's perfect. Like, you guys did so great with that, and if we ever work together again, I absolutely want to continue that trend of, like, hey, you guys have the creative power just as much as I do. So yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a good scene when it's actively happening in front of me, and I have to try not to, like, yell because we're still filming. So I start smacking Michael on the arm because I'm so excited.
There were quite a few of those, and we do have behind-the-scenes footage of that. And I would just, like, be scared because, first off, when she's whacking me in the arm, I'm either, like, she's really happy or she sees something wrong and is telling me to yell cut real quick. But 90% of the time, it was really happy, and I was like, holy crap. These guys are good.
I can't contain my feelings.
I could tell, honestly, one of my favorite moments on set was when we did our first take of that scene, and as soon as you yelled cut, Piper, I don't remember exactly what you said, but it was something along the lines of, like, oh, you guys are such good actors. And that just made me feel really good.
I speak the truth.
That was awesome. I remember that was, you're talking about 15, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh my god.
So, off acting conversation. You're studying what?
No, I'm kidding.
You, Jared, you're studying film in college, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, what was it like being a filmmaker and acting on a film set? Was that like a weird experience for you, or was it enjoyable because you know more about like the filmmaking process than other actors might? Like, what was that like for you, as from that perspective?
Well, the thing is, first of all, I'm still early in college, so I haven't really gotten into a whole lot of actual film stuff. And I'm gonna be honest, I was originally a film major and a theater minor, and this upcoming semester I'm actually switching the two around, so I'll be a theater major and a film minor. Mainly because I do have more interest in the acting side of things rather than the behind the camera stuff. But definitely that is a large interest of mine. I think I prefer acting, but I'm still fascinated by those aspects as well. And that's something I've loved about even being an actor on sets, is just being able to be there in the environment and see how things are done. Like there was a film I did earlier this year where I was just an extra, but just to be there on set and see the whole process was just really fascinating to me.
Yeah, that's even me being on set. I was shocked at just like the environment on set, like the oh, this is a film set. What the hell, aspect of things. But yeah, I can really see why you're swapping your major and your minor, because you are a fantastic actor. So keep at it. But that's I think it's even even if you don't feel like you're gonna pursue like filmmaking as a whole, I think it's really good to know about like some of the stuff behind the scenes. So you like you as you're studying film, like you learn about behind the scenes, how it all works and stuff. I think that's really cool to know whether you're involved with being on set or not. From a filmmaker's perspective, even if you're an actor, it's good to know that, I think. Um,
Really, in any situation, to know, like, obviously what you're doing and what your job is, but also to have at least some semblance of an idea of what it's like for the people around you that are doing other things. Like I know part of the theater program is not only acting, but we also have to take a stage management class, which I don't want to be a stage manager, but it'll be good to have that perspective. And when it comes to film, like I definitely still have interest in doing that type of stuff at some point, but I don't think it needs to be my central focus right now, because a lot of the things that I know about film, I haven't learned from classes, I've learned from being on set.
yeah, makes sense. But on the bright side, you have a little bit of a head start when you go to start to study the film stuff. So
Jared, what was your favorite moment on set?
So I've got two answers for this. I've got the short one and the long one. The short one, I just can't go into details because of spoilers, but just what we were talking about before, scene 15, just the whole process with that. Again, your comment after that first take made me feel really good. So that was a special moment. And then the sort of not while filming moments. I don't remember what day it was, but there was one day that we were at Michael's house and I think we were on a dinner break, and your parents cooked us some great stuff. I think they were like grilled burgers and like there were some potatoes and stuff. First of all, just great food. That was fantastic. And then pretty much I think like the whole cast and crew came and sat down in the living room and we watched the first episode of Ted Lasso, which I love Ted Lasso. So that was just a really nice moment to sit back and relax and enjoy that together.
Ted Lasso is the best. My God, it's so good. I could watch it a million times. I've probably watched it 3 times all the way through.
Oh yeah, it's so rewatchable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was that was awesome. I enjoyed that.
I forgot that we did that.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. I don't remember. There was a moment with you guys, with you especially, that just... I have to come back to it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But there's a moment that I was thinking of that was like, this is hilarious. I know that when we were down in the Cape, I think... Was it you, Isaiah, and Jacob that were playing Sackboy on the TV?
That was just the 2 of them, but I was definitely there watching most of it, though. And it was very entertaining.
Their antics.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
It was, like, that was, like, one of the best, like, crew bonding moments that I saw, cast and crew bonding moments. Just, like, seeing everyone just, like, playing video games, having a fun time, sitting down together. It makes me feel like, okay, these people are, like, basically friends now, and this makes me happy.
Yeah. And then me
moments
not,
like that are great.
Me being someone who doesn't play video games really, and then in scenes where we were filming a scene where me and Isaiah's characters were playing video games, so we were actually playing Sackboy or whatever it was, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I was just trying to follow Isaiah. Just go with it.
Isaiah was talking terminology, I think, like Call of Duty or something, or like some sort of like game that I don't play. So when I look back at that footage, I'm like, good thing there's going to be music over this, because I have no clue what the hell he's talking about.
Oh yeah, scenes like that, like improv sometimes scares me when it's in a scene where I know the story of the scene and where it's supposed to go, like scene 15 with moments like that. I can pretty easily do that. But when it's something like that where it's just like, okay, you guys are playing video games, you're talking to each other. Now that's something I struggle with. Especially video games being something I don't know that much about.
I think just the entire Cape, having... I know Cora wasn't there, but you and Isaiah and a whole bunch of our crew there, I think that was a lot more... Not more fun, but a lot less stressful for us, because we had already like met each other and worked with each other and known each other, and then we just gotten a break from each other because we were stuck with each other for 2.5 weeks. We love everyone, but everyone needs their alone time. And then coming back to the Cape, we had such a great time filming that. Just that section. It was like 3 days, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of August, I think. So that was, I think everyone seemed to have like a really good time just coming back, and it was great to see everyone, because I had like missed everyone now that I had like such strong connections with everyone after we did the first section of filming. So I was like, I missed you guys. Let's get into this.
Yeah, it was like a little reunion.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm excited to see everyone again. That'll be fun. In the summer. I'm excited for that. Okay. We have your favorite moments. Oh, Piper, do you have a favorite Jared moment? Sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know I was going to be asked a question. Oh my gosh.
You gotta talk about Jared as much as possible. It's his episode.
I know, but I can't share the moment that was my favorite. I can't. It's a spoiler.
Which scene?
You know I'm not good at the scene numbers.
French and Braun?
No.
Waterfall?
No. Basement?
Oh, okay. I was thinking that one. Well, we can discuss that as
it was
as
pretty
possible.
hilarious.
It was hilarious.
Also just loved... I felt bad because like going into it I was like, I'm not sure how to direct how this is gonna go, and you were just like fully open to whatever was about to happen. So.
And
Amazing.
you worked with
10 out
us
of
every
10.
step of the way with that scene, because it's kind of a complex scene, and all I'm going to say is I didn't want anyone, like, feeling uncomfortable in any way whatsoever, and you guys really, like, understood and got that, so you guys worked with us really well on that. Also, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that you were cool with, like, just being shoved onto the ground.
Oh, yeah. Well, also, I didn't have any lines in that scene, which was actually great for me, because I didn't have to memorize anything for that part. But yeah, it gave me something to do, gave me a little bit of stunt work, kinda. Which, I mean, I've done a lot of that on stage. I've done a lot of tripping and falling. Do I wear knee pads for any of it? No. So it was nothing new. I'm used to it.
Well, you and not Cora, Isaiah can both be labeled as stunt people, because he wants credit for stunt driving the car over the drone, which terrified the living shit out of him. Were you there for that, Jared? When he...
I don't think so. I've heard about it, but I don't remember being there for that.
So, do you have a least favorite moment on set? Or off set? Here with us.
I mean, mainly I can just think of small embarrassing moments. One of which being, I think it was our second day filming. We shot a scene outside, like right outside the Airbnb, so you wanted us all to move our cars. And then, of course, that was the time I went to start my car, and it didn't. Because my car's old. It's almost as old as me, which to you isn't that old. But for a car, it kind of is. So it has a lot of problems. And especially in the summer, it just overheats and won't start. So that was just, didn't like dealing with that. Because I couldn't move it. But we worked around it, so it was fine. And then the other one is just... and we talked about this many times, but how the fact that even in the character description for the audition was, all right, Riley's an athlete, he's a sporty guy, and I'm not. And literally the first scene we shot was on a basketball court, and I had to have Isaiah do all the stuff with shooting the ball because I couldn't do it.
Isaiah gets another stunt credit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the football was worse, though, I will say.
That footage came out really well, though. That didn't look weird or bad at all. So don't worry about that one. No, it was kind of funny once we like got to know everyone and like on set, just kind of like realizing the fact that Riley's like an athlete and Cash is not, but Isaiah's an athlete and you're not really an athlete. Just kind of like things feel swapped for a second here. But it was really, it all worked out. Like, I didn't see any issue with it. And, I don't know, it was fun. That first day, though, I think it was kind of funny that the first scene that you were filming with us was that basketball scene, which we then ended up reshooting. And then your car, on the bright side, we did not have a car shortage at the Airbnb. We had like 10 cars there. Oh my god. And we worked around it. We could angle the camera away from where your car was, so it's okay. And it still drives, right?
Yes, it's working right now.
Sweet.
Woo!
Knock on wood. Piper, do you have a least favorite moment with Jared?
No.
Good
Every
answer.
moment was wonderful.
Jared is a wonderful human, so there are no not wonderful moments.
I don't know. I don't have a least favorite moment with anybody.
But with me.
Well.
There were like, I don't think there were any least favorite moments with any particular actor. I can just understand the least favorite moments from their perspective. Or when we had a whole bunch of takes to do in one scene. There was a scene, which I really can't say. You guys, Piper, you weren't there for it. It was in the Cape.
Boo.
Sorry, it was a scene that we were up until 1:30 in the morning filming. Jared, you know that scene.
Yeah.
In Riley's bedroom. But what it was it wasn't a least favorite moment. It was just the entire scene was so time consuming, and I could tell everyone was so frustrated. And just tired, and I had a feeling that you and Isaiah were just like, let's just go to bed. Like, come on. But
To be fair, in between shooting, I had a bed right there that I was laying on anyway.
true. I'm jealous of that. I should do that. Next time I direct a film, I should have like a sleeping bag right next to my little section. So I can just lay down while I'm waiting for stuff to get set up. Yeah.
Are you just going to direct people from the sleeping bag?
Like, yeah, we'll do that. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I can direct from the ground. It's okay.
No director's chair. We want a director's sleeping bag.
Exactly. See, Jared's on the same wavelength as I am. We'll get it, like, printed on it. Director on the sleeping bag on the side all the way up. Yeah. But perfect. But no, that scene was really frustrated, and everyone was just frustrating, and everyone was so annoyed and just like, I want to be done. But part of us were like, should we just film the rest the next day, or should we just keep on going? And we just kept going till what, 1:30 in the morning, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the scene turned out really, really well, and obviously everyone did a fantastic job, so I think it was worth it. I hope people got their sleep afterwards. But that was like probably one of the most challenging scenes that we filmed overall. Just because there were like 15 different shots in that scene too, if I remember that correctly, and we had to split it up into 2 little sections because we took a break after first half of them.
Oh, actually, one sort of I don't know if it was actually recorded, so I don't know if it was technically a blooper, but it was during that big scene that we did in the Cape with me and Isaiah. It was like such a serious scene, but for some reason there was like a minute or two straight that we just couldn't stop laughing. Like, we were ready to shoot, and then I would look at the ground to sort of focus myself, and then as soon as I looked up into his eyes, we just started laughing.
I think we do have that on camera.
I was gonna say that seems familiar.
Yeah, I think I haven't like made a blooper of that yet, but there is just a moment of like, you looked at him, and then you started smiling because he looked like he was laughing, and then he got mad at you. He was like, "Why are you smiling? Don't smile."
Yeah.
It was just
contagious.
Smiling is contagious.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do serious scenes like that when you just have so much fun. It's hard to like separate yourself, and I caught myself even doing that. I was like laughing around and be like, okay, Jared, not towards you or anything, but like, Jared, I need to focus. I need to be serious. So I switched into like serious mode real quick, and it feels weird. It's like a little switch you have to like flip in your head, and it's just, I don't know.
I know, it was really bad during that. I just want to talk openly about these scenes. During that scene in the basement, I remember standing in the corner, facing away from the action, because I could not stop laughing, even though it was kind of a serious scene.
A very serious scene, actually.
It was a very serious scene. I just could not stop. And I could not look. And I was like, someone just tell me when it's over.
I think there were a couple points where either you or Cora started laughing. As Isaiah, like, peeked his head around. That's all I'm going to say. Peeked his head around the corner. I think there were some bloopers of you guys just, like, straight up laughing. Just, like, because his face when he peeked around was like...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can also imagine from your perspective, just that scene fractured on its own has got to be funny. Like, unedited, especially the way it ends.
Yep. It's it's hilarious because Will and Dylan and I do the editing for it, and every time we get to that scene, I can't help but laugh. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be like that when everyone else watches it, but like, going, like, when I'm looking through it, I'm like, first off, I think this is hilarious to film. I love this. But secondly, I'm like, this is such a weird way to have a scene happen. And just like that ending, like you said, that ending to the scene is hilarious. I don't know. I love it. It brightens my day every time I see it, even though it's a really weird scene to have brighten your day.
Yeah, especially with that being one of the bigger scenes that we thought would be sort of uncomfortable. You kind of need to have that playfulness with it.
Yeah. It was good. Was this your? I know you said you've been in previous films before. Have you been in a feature film before?
No, this is my first.
Oh my god, congratulations.
Thanks.
And let's say we haven't filmed yet, and we're going into filming. What's one thing you would do differently?
I would say just more preparation. I mean, you can never be too prepared. Especially with how I was going right from 2 back-to-back shows straight into this. I didn't have a whole lot of time, which was also one of the nice things about doing a film compared to theater is with that you have to have the whole show memorized and do it over and over again. This, a lot of the times obviously I'd read the script a bunch, but I wasn't fully memorized with the scenes until like the night before. We would get done shooting, and before I went to sleep, I would look at the scenes we have the next day, read through them, hopefully get them memorized, and yeah, that was sort of my process there. But yeah, if I could have had more time with that and more thinking about it and the characters and all that, that would have been nice. But I think I made it work.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Well, now you have me wondering, what is since you've done both film and theater, what is the main difference besides the memorization of film versus theater?
No, you're pretty close because there's a lot of similarities and differences between both, but definitely one of the biggest ones is that with theater you have to really sort of over exaggerate and really be over the top and big, because yeah, there's people sitting in the front row however many feet from you, but then there's also people way in the back that they also need to be able to hear what you're saying and be able to see what you're doing as well. So with film, it's really more of a focus on the smaller aspects of it. There's also the benefit of, if you mess up, you can just shoot the scene again or do whatever. You have multiple chances with that. You mess up live on stage, you just gotta figure it out and go with it. Yeah, I will say one other aspect, which was also just overthinking, feeding into anxiety thing, is that one of the things I love about doing, for example, a comedy on stage is you get that instant feedback with the laughter, and you can feed off of that. On a film set, obviously you get compliments after you finish a scene, but especially for a joke or something that's supposed to be funny, obviously people can't laugh while you're filming. So that's also a difference that I wanted to point out as well.
Unless you're Piper standing in the corner trying not to laugh.
Standing in the corner, yeah.
No, that makes so much sense though. And then, because again, you went from doing 2 back-to-back shows for multiple weeks straight to film. Was there like a transition period for you to kind of switch? Oh wait, I'm not doing theater right now. We're filming.
Yeah, it was really my drive down there, was a lot of my switch. Because I remember actually one day, there was one day where I think it was during that first week there in July, where I was there in Camden and we were shooting, and I had a rehearsal that night where I missed most of my rehearsals that week. Because yes, I just finished 2 shows, but then I had another one a couple weeks later. But there was a rehearsal that I really wanted to be at because it was one of our first rehearsals for the show or something like that. And so I had driven back to Madison to go to that, and then I think I left early, so I was just there for part of the rehearsal, but then I left early to come back. Actually, that was the Wednesday, so it would have been July 3rd. That was the scene we did at the French and Bronze. So we only did the one scene that night, and it was at night. So I had the time to go back during the day to Madison and then drive back at night. Which I will say, the view was great, the sunset and everything, beautiful. And it was on my way that I was rehearsing lines in my head, basically.
Jeez, that's crazy. The level of commitment you guys have is insane. God, that's like...
You're so cool.
Piper's saying what we're all thinking. That's insane, though, because you travel, well, not as far as other people, but you traveled a lot for this. Just like, what, an hour and a half or something each way?
It was something like that, yeah.
Jeez. That's crazy.
And I was both lucky and not lucky at the same time when we did the stuff in the Cape that I was having car issues again. So I think, yeah, my car wouldn't start. Something was wrong with it. So we ended up getting an Uber to come get me. So, I mean, on the downside, my car didn't start. But on the upside, I didn't have to drive all that way.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, I can just imagine you get to hang out in, like, the backseat or whatever, just, like, playing games on your phone, listen to music, whatever you want. Like, hey, whatever works, right? I mean,
Yeah. The way back, the Uber driver was hungry, had to stop at the bathroom. We stopped at a McDonald's. Cool.
Nice.
All right.
you got
dude.
food! That's a bonus.
Yeah.
Typically, the Uber drivers don't want to stop for anything. They're just like, get you out of my car right now.
Well, I had to use the bathroom, and I wasn't going to let him use mine because, stranger danger. So,
Facts.
Stranger danger. Oh my god. Yeah, there was a... Oh, we also had the 4th of July fireworks that we all did together. That was nice.
yeah, that was fun.
And then you had the torture of trying to find a parking spot downtown.
Yeah.
And then I had to find you in the group of people. I was looking for you for like 5
So
minutes, I think. It was crazy.
Yeah, and my text messages weren't going through or something either, so it was a whole thing. But it ended up being fun.
We found you. We enjoyed the fireworks. No one got hurt or died or anything. It's all good.
Yep.
Jared, is there anything else you want to mention before we log off?
No, I'm just, I'm excited for everybody to see the film, and I'm excited for me to see the film as well. I'm quite excited.
Me too,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. I have to, like, every time I watch the film, I'm like in chunks, and then I pause and I go edit something, and then I continue. I'm like, that's not watching. So I actually haven't watched it all the way through since like the first rough cut without making like a change or whatever. But it is looking really, really good. Which makes me very happy and a lot less stressed about it. But still stressed overall. But no, like, you actors did an amazing job, and you especially, for coming in on such short notice and working with us on the time frame and committing with a month before the film is supposed to start filming. Yeah, you did a fantastic job, so thank you again for working with us so well and just doing what you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. Piper, anything you want to say before we end the episode? No?
Everyone's just so cool.
That's what
I'm
we should...
just like always in awe of
That's
the
what we should
commitment.
put at the end of the credits. Just everyone's just so cool. Piper Pavelich,
Everyone's just so
2024.
cool.
Perfect way to end the credits.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for listening. It's been great having Piper and Jared on. We will figure out who we're going to have next soon, and we will see you next time on Uncropped. Have a good night.